Welcome, my dear students, to the accounting class of St. Peter's College, Colombo, Nigam branch. And today we are here to start a new lesson, preparation of the financial statement of a partnership business. So, in the previous lesson, we were discussing about the preparation of the financial statement of a non-profit organization and preparation of the financial statement based on incomplete records. So, here we have turned into a new lesson called partnership organization. So even in the business studies, you would have speak about the classification of business organization. Business organization can be classified based on different items or the different names. So according to the ownership or the management of a business organization, that can be classified as private sector and the public sector. Private sector organizations belong to an individual or group of people, and the public sector organization belongs to the government. So when we come to the private sector business organization, we have sole proprietorship. In the lesson number 6, we prepare the financial statement for sole proprietorship. There is just one owner. So the person who brings to the capital is an individual. And when we make the financial statement, in the statement of financial position, you will see only a single capital term of the owner. But we have a different type of business organization called partnership. So what is meant by this partnership? It's come under the classification of the business organization based on ownership or the management. So partnership means it's an organization of combination of people. So sole proprietorship, it speaks about only just a single owner. But when we turn to the partnership, it gives an idea from the term itself. There are more than one owners. So let's turn to the meaning of the partnership organization. A partnership business is the relationship between two or more individuals who wish to carry on the business with the objective to making profit. So, my dear children, I would like to bring your attention toward specific words that you can see in this definition. A partnership business is the relationship between two or more individuals. So, Putala, it's a relationship. So, if we call something as a partnership, there should be some kind of bond between the people who are there, right? And two or more people. So I would like to speak about this two or more. So if it is not at least two owners, so it is considered as a sole proprietorship. In order to turn a business organization from sole proprietorship to partnership, they should have at least two people. So therefore, we call two or more individuals who wish to carry on the business. So, why have they given the term called business? Remember, when the people are gathered to accomplish some kind of objective, if they don't have the opinion of satisfying human needs or want, we cannot call that as a business or a partnership. So, this is an organization, it's a combination of people, and there should be more than two people, and who has gathered to carry a business with the objective of making profit. This is the specific words for that. So I call here as main characteristics of a partnership business. So what are these main characteristics? What can we see as the characteristics of partnership? It has individuals. So the term of two or more individuals shows the word of individual. There should be people. And it's not an individual, but individuals. So it's a kind of gathering of number of people, but even it has a limit. We'll be discussing about it later. And common agreement. When there's a gathering of people, even for a function, for a party, or some kind of occasion, so they have some kind of agreement. This is what we are going to do. This is what will happen. So it's a kind of common opinion or an objective which has been come up from all the members. So they should have some kind of common agreement. All of them should get agree to that. If not, that organization cannot be conducted as a partnership organization. So they should have a common agreement. And business. This type of organization should be able to provide goods or service to the people. Why is that? Imagine if you are gathered to discuss about some kind of gossip. It's a gathering, common agreement, because you are so willing to find out some new information about somebody else. So you have these two in that group or clique. But a business. So you are gathered to provide some kind of good or a service. If it is so only, you can call that as a partnership. So my dear children, and finally we have the profit making objective. If there are gathering of people with a common agreement and some kind of satisfying a different type of need of a people. But if they are not earning profit, we cannot call that organization as a partnership. Reason is, in the previous lesson we discussed about the non-profit organization. The organization or the number of people has been gathered to provide some kind of welfare to the society or for some kind of common objectives. So here they have an objective of earning, making profit. So this is a kind of organization which is there to earn profit. So if any organizations are focusing on profit, we make a special financial statement for them. That is called income statement. So without any issues, you can identify this organization may be preparing financial statements for their partners' need of information. That the main statement is income statement. So my dear children, we discussed the meaning of a partnership business. So I hope you can remember the main characteristics. There should be individuals and they should have common agreement and there should be a business. Also the profit making objective. So if you are having any organization with all four characteristics, you can call this as a partnership business. So Hudala, if you give an example, let's take the school. Are they having some kind of individuals? Yes, we have the principal, staff and students and people those who are around the school. So all are individuals and they have common agreement. Even the principal says that you have to do this, we have a hierarchy and the way that we follow something. We have that rule. Is it a business? Yeah, we are providing a service. And profit making objective. So usually schools won't come under the profit making. They are for service providing only, so not for the profit. So if it is a non-profit organization, that cannot be considered as a partnership. And there should be some kind of particular number of members as owners. So we cannot find the half of the school belong to the government and half of belong to the other management side. So in that case, we cannot identify that business as a partnership organization. So I hope you can remember about the term called company. That's different from the partnership. Why do we say it's apart from the partnership? Because in a company, there can be thousands of people. Here we don't have the facility of getting number of members. Instead of that, we have a limit of having partners. So anyway, there are four characteristics in a partnership. They have common objective, individuals, and a term of business and profit making objective. Now, we'll come to what is meant by this partnership agreement. Agreement in the sense, we have to agree for something. So let's see. The conducting method of a partnership or the ideal situation would be to have an agreement for a partnership. Business may occur in the following ways. That means when you are conducting some kind of business, Imagine if you are with a group of individuals, so there should be kind of agreement of doing something, because you cannot just accomplish your own opinion in these type of organization. It's not allowed because it's coming up from the group of people. So you have to have, when you're conducting your business as a partnership, you have to have some kind of agreements. You have to get agreed for certain things. So let's see what are they. So you can have an agreement in writing, verbally, by action of a partner. That means when you have some kind of way of conducting the business in a written document, so that is the best way for the management of a partnership. So if you have your agreement in a written way, we call it partnership deed. So partnership deed is a kind of document which you can present for any kind of issues which is occurred in a partnership, because it's the most trustworthy way of identifying something. The way that you are going to conduct the partnership, if you are going to write them in a document, we call it partnership agreement in written. And verbally, imagine if you have gathered with few people and going to do some kind of business, and in verbally you are going to discuss how we are going to do this and that. So, but you are not making any proper document. You may have some kind of problems in the future, but you can do in that way also. That is called verbally. So, the agreement between the partners occurred verbally. And by action of a partner, there are different types of partners who are agreeing for certain things, not in writing, not in verbally, but by action. Even at home. So, if you want to ask something from your parents, maybe they are not giving you anything in writing. Maybe most of the time it's verbally, but sometimes by an action. Action shows, a certain action shows whether they agreed or not. So these are the three different ways that a partnership agreement may occur. Sometimes the partnership agreement, the condition that we have to follow to conduct a partnership can be come up from three ways. They are in writing, we call it partnership deed. That's the best way to conduct a partnership. Also verbally and by an action of a partner. Partnership agreement may include the following. So why do we have this agreement? What for? So what are we focusing on? So if you are having a business, my dear children, the main objective of that is to earn. So if you are earning that in a sole proprietorship, whatever the amount that you receive as profit, you can enjoy it alone. But here you don't have that facility, because that profit has been earned in the business by the combination or the contribution of group of people. So you have to share them. So partnership agreement should include the following. That means, Putala, if you are having the partnership deeds, you should have these kind of information written there. If not, if you are going to discuss about your partnership, you have to discuss about these things. And if you are going to get the agreement of a partner, you have to get agreed of them by an action about these kind of issues. So number one is the basis of contribution in the capital. Imagine there can be partners who are not willing to invest, but they are willing to enjoy the benefits. So you should not let that happen in the business. So first of all, you have to discuss among the partners how we are going to get the capital. So this is how I am going to introduce my capital. This is how I am going to introduce. First of all, there should be kind of discussion about the capital, the investment of the partnership. So that should be included in your partnership agreement. And as the second one, the contribution of the partners in the management. That means, Patana, when you are managing the business, that means when you are conducting your business activities, how they are going to commit, how they are going to provide their willingness or the time toward the partnership organization. And the other one is profit sharing ratio. So if you are investing in the business, the main objective is to earn. So if it is a partnership organization, you should have some kind of agreement of sharing the profit. the amount that you have earned during the period, how we are going to share this among the partners. That should be discussed within the partners. Also, entitlement to interest on capital and salaries. That means, Kutala, you are providing capital. For the capital, we can give them some kind of interest. Because they have, I think in economics, you have studied about the opportunity cost. Because they have invested in your business, they won't be able to get the benefit of enjoying that in some other way. So you have to give them some kind of benefit for that opportunity cost. So we have to discuss whether we are paying them the interest or not. And apart from that, salary. Usually partners, if they are engaging in the management of the partnership, so they should receive some kind of extra benefit like salaries. So in your partnership agreement, you can have some kind of agreement whether you are going to get the salaries or not. And recording of the goodwill. Put a goodwill here. We will discuss this in the next segment. But anyway, the goodwill means the kind of reputation earned by a business. As an example, can you start a McDonald's in your group as a business place using the name? It's not allowed. The reason is it's a kind of reputation built by some other organization. Can you just start something called Food City? Cargill's Food City special? No. It's belong to the Cargill's company. So the goodwill is kind of reputation earned during a period. So here we are going to, it's a kind of intangible asset. So in the partnership agreement, we have to discuss whether we are going to record them or not. As well as interest for loan. There are occasions, my dear children, when the partners provide some kind of additional amount other than the capital given to the business. So we cannot consider them as capital. Capital is given to get the ownership of the business, while the loans are given with a different intention of getting interest. So if the partners have given loan to the business, whether we are going to pay them interest or whether there is any other condition of settling them, we have to discuss them or we have to write them in a proper document as partnership deed. So these kind of information should be included in the partnership agreement. Anyway, remember this, partnership agreement is the way that you are going to do the activities in a partnership business. So my dear children, now we'll turn to legislation that cover the carrying a partnership as a business. Business as a partnership. So my dear children, here we are going to discuss about the rules and regulations regarding partnership. And I hope you all can remember when we come to the sole proprietorship organization, we did not have any particular rules or regulation. The rules and regulations are minimal. Even in same with the partnership when we compare to the companies. But anyway, they have to follow certain rules and regulations, and some court cases are relevant to the partnership businesses. So here the main thing is partnership ordinance of 1890. Partnership ordinance, from the name itself you can identify this is something for partnership. And there are different sections, Kutala. Here we usually use section number 24 and 42 regarding partnership accounting in advanced level. So this is the main rule or the regulation regarding partnership. Apart from that, we have section number 519 of the Company Act number 7 of 2007. So something related to the Company Act, but there is something speaking about the partnership. At once when you say that Company Act, you will have some kind of doubt whether it is relevant to the partnership. Yes, there is a section. It's 519 which is relevant to the partnership. And after that, section number 7 of 1840, Prevention of Frauds Ordinance. So prevention of frauds. So they won't let you to have some kind of losses. And apart from that, the section number 6 of 1918, Business Name Registration. So whether to register your business or not. Now we'll turn to each and every act and the ordinance but speak about the partnership. Partnership Ordinance of 1890, where there is no agreement in writing or regarding a condition that has not been included in an agreement, partnership dispose must be resolved according to the Partnership Ordinance. What is meant by this, Putala? We spoke about the conducting method of a partnership. We call it partnership agreement. When there is no agreement and when there is no written agreement, especially when there is no partnership deed, we have to come up with a partnership ordinance of 1890 and see what they are requesting us to do. So as an example, in the section number 24, they are telling us profit and losses must be shared equally. So as an example, if there is a partnership by engaging of A, B and C, they have agreed to share the profit as 2:2:1. This is how they are going to share the profit as per their agreement. And there is a different type of partnership organization whose they are only E and F. In their agreement, they don't have partnership deal. They don't have discussed how they are going to share the profit or losses. At that time, you have to come to the Partnership Ordinance of 1890 and see the relevant information regarding your matter. So here they are requesting you to share the profit and losses equally when there is no agreement in your partnership. That means 1:1. And in respect of loan provided to the partnership, in addition to the capital, is entitled to a minimum of 5% interest on credit. That means these two are the different way that a partners contribute toward the business. Capital and the loans. When they provide capital, the capital increase the ownership of a partner and it's belong to the equity category. But loans are different, Mutala. Loans are given in addition to the capital, in respect of the loan provided to the partnership, in addition to the capital. Apart from the capital, if they give anything, so you can provide 5% interest on the loan given to them. But in case, Mutala, in your agreement, if you have, the C has provided some kind of loan and business has agreed to pay 10% interest. So at that time, you can follow that. But when you turn into the Partnership Ordinance of 1890, you have to follow 5%. And when there is no any relevant figure is given, you have to go with 5% interest rate. And apart from that, no entitlement to a salary. That means even if you are engaging in management activities of a partnership, you are not going to get a salary according to the Partnership Ordinance. But if you have an agreement in your partnership deal that each partner should get this much of salary, so you will be able to receive it or enjoy it. But according to the ordinance, it is not allowed to partners. And also, if a partner has spent his personal funds for the business activities, it is to be reimbursed. Their occasion, the partners take over certain expenses on behalf of the business. Sometimes they settle the partnership business payments, bills out of their pocket, out of their own money. So this settlement, if they make any settlement for the business expenses, they are to be reimbursed. We have to give them back. So that was mentioned in the Partnership Ordinance. As an example, if you are a partner in a partnership organization, if you do something for partnership business, you have the right of asking it back, receiving it back. The reason is, according to the Partnership Ordinance, you can enjoy that benefit. So this is about the Partnership Ordinance, and also as I told, there are two sections, section number 24 and section number 42. When a partner retires, leave, die, unless his entitlement to paid on the same day is entitled to receive the minimum 5% annual interest from the day until the day of the payment. What does mean by this? When there is a partnership organization, if suddenly partner call B, if that partner wants to retire or leave the partnership, in case there can be the death of a partner. So at that moment, in case if they are leaving, anyway, the partnership ownership will be taken away. So at that time, remove that ownership from the business and the amount due to that person. If you are not going to settle that amount at the same time, that means if we have three partners called A, B and C, if B wants to retire from the partnership, he will go. The amount that he has provided as the capital should be given to him at the time that he is leaving. But if you are unable to settle that amount at the same time that he leaves, until we settle that amount, we have to pay him an interest of 5% annual interest. Remember, section number 42 speak about the interest given for the retired partners. But section number 24, there is a statement regarding 5% interest for the loan given by the partners who are existing. But this is about the left partners. So if the amount that we given to them, if it is with you, you have to give them 5% interest. And today we discuss about the partnership audience. There are two sections of section number 24 and 42. Now we will turn to the next one. Number 7 of 2007 Company Act, section number 590. So what is this Company Act speaking about? The partnership organization. As for the Company Act, the maximum number of members in a partnership is limited to 20. That means in order to start a partnership, at least you have to have 2 people. So according to the partnership ordinance, you can make it 20. So my dear children, in a partnership organization, you can have 2 to 20 partners. Who has decided the maximum number of partners of the year limitation? By the Company Act. This is the only situation that you can find something related to the partnership in the Company Act. It is about the maximum number of partners. So Putala, we have come to the number 6 of 1918 registration of a business ordinance. As we know this, in a partnership organization, the name of a partnership is not compulsory for the registration. But if you are having the name of the partnership should be registered if the name is differ from the full name of its partners. So Putala, if your name is other than something else from the partner's name, you should register them under the number 6 of 1918 Business Name Ordinance. This is about the registration. And finally, number 7 of 1840 Prevention of Codes and Ordinance. Could you look at the year? These years represent the years which is introduced this ordinance or the acts. So it has been established in 1840, long time ago. It has not yet updated. Why is that? Because at the moment partnership business is very rare. People cannot get together and do the business. And because of the certain limitation and there is no any proper legal background, the people are not willing to conduct a business as a partnership. So these rules and regulations are not updated also. But according to this 1840 Prevention of Codes Ordinance, they are telling us if the partnership initial capital exceeds ₹1,000, it is compulsory for registration. So as per this, each and every partnership which is there right now should be registered, because usually we start by exceeding the limit of ₹1,000. So these are the information about the rules and regulation of a partnership. And now we'll turn into the next section, contribution of the partnership. So there can be the contribution of the partnership, but before that I would like to bring certain information to your knowledge. We discussed what does mean by a partnership. Partnership. And we discussed about the four characteristics. They are individuals, they have common objective or common agreement, there should be business between them, as well as the profit making objective should be there. And after that I came to the partnership agreement. In that agreement, what do we have? The way that they have to conduct the business. There can be three different ways, like in written partnership deed, verbally, or by an action. So the information included in the partnership agreement was discussed, like profit sharing, how they are going to contribute toward the capital and the management, and if they are provided loans, how can we treat them, and if there is drawings, how can we limit them, and if the expenses borne by the partners, how can we reimburse them. All the information should be included in the agreement of a partnership. After that, we came to the legislation. The rules and regulations relevant to the partnership organization, like Partnership Ordinance of 1890 and Number 7 of 2007 Company Act Section number 519. Also, we have Frauds and Prevention Ordinance of 1840. As well as one more we have about the name of a partnership registration, number 6 of 1980. So now here we are going to discuss about the contribution of the partnership. So the contribution of the partnership can be coming from different ways. Investing capital. They are investing capital. The initial amount that they are providing to the business. Payment should be paid to the investment. So if they have given some kind of investment to the business, we have to give them something. Can you remember I spoke about the opportunity cost? Because if they have invested in your partnership, they have not got a chance to get an interest or income from investing into other business. So you have to give them a kind of treatment called interest payment. It's a kind of amount given to them because of they have invested in your business. And in the second section, Kutala, partnership in the management, participation in the management. If they are working with you, they should receive an amount called salary. So for the investment, Kutala, for the investment they are getting interest. For the management, they are getting payment, salary payment, and bearing risk. These partners are taking risk for their investment. So you have to give them a term of profit. And apart from that, we discuss about the loans given by the partners, and the loan should be getting an amount of interest expenses. It's an expense for us, but it's an income for them. If they give loans, we have to treat them with interest. And it is considered as an expense to the business. So there are different variation or the contribution of a partnership. Number one is if they invest to the business, we have to give them capital, interest income, interest on capital, and if they are participating in the management, we have to give them salaries, and because if they are taking the risk, bearing the risk, we have to give them profit. All these three items are taken from the net profit. So we call them appropriate the net profit. Appropriate in the sense we are sharing the net profit into three categories. Some are interest on capital, some are salaries, and the other part goes to the profit. But apart from that, if they have given anything for loan, if they are provided loans, so we have to give them interest expenses. Interest. So it's an expense for the business. It's a financial expense. So Bhutana, these three are taken after calculating the net profit. Because first of all, we have to give priority to the outsiders and all the other payments. Then only we have to think about the partners. So in that case, loan is considered as a separate item other than the capital. So even for the loan, the interest expenses should be given in the income statement. And after providing or after settling all the expenses, we may having some kind of amount called net profit. Net profit is divided among the partners in different ways. Some are interest on capital and a different amount of salaries and the profit shares. So after that, my dear children, I am going to discuss about the partners' equity, partners' ownership. So partners' ownership can be created like this: current account and capital account. In a partnership business, we have two accounts. One account is called current account. The other account is called capital. What does mean by current account? Variable equity is recorded. Variable in the sense that it is changing year by year, annually. Because of the quick actions of the partners, if the equity, the ownership of the partners are changing, means it comes under the current account. Then we have the capital account. While the fixed equity is recorded, it won't change often. So it goes to the capital account. So my dear children, the partnership equity is created in two ways. If it is often changed, we put them into the current account. If it is often changed, won't change, we put them into the capital account. So current account is recorded with the following: interest on capital, salaries, profit and loss shares. I am speaking about first of all these three: interest on capital, salaries and profit shares. Can you remember we made them in the previous segment? So these items are the appropriation of the net profit. The profit earned during the period is shared among the partners in a different terms called interest on capital, salaries, profit and losses shares. If you are calculating profit and losses monthly, there are 12 entries in your current account. If you are calculating the profit annually, every year we have these items recorded in your capital equity. So it's a variable one. And drawings, the amount enjoyed by the partners, the withdrawal of capital, and the withdrawal of the assets. Usually they consider as drawings. And apart from that, interest for loans. If they are given loans to the business, we have to give them an amount of interest. And the business expenses borne by the partners. So if they have taken any expenses on behalf of the business, we have to reimburse them. Those items are recorded in the current account because they vary. But when we come to the capital account, we record opening and closing balances, adjustment of the goodwill, the reputation of the goodwill, there are occasions that we adjust them, and withdrawal of the capital. If they are taking or if they are removing their capital from the business, if they are leaving, they are to be recorded in the partners' capital accounts. So today when there is just a single owner, we have the capital account like this. And capital is some kind of equity entry. When they increase, we record them in the credit side, and the decreases recorded in the debit side. But how can we prepare capital account when we have more people? So when there are number of partners, number of owners, your capital account is same as a P account. But according to the number of partners, you have to divide. If there are 10 partners, you have to divide them into 10 columns. So my dear children, this is the capital account. So imagine if you have any opening balance in the capital account, they can be recorded in the credit side. And adjustment of the goodwill is recorded in both the debit and credit side, and withdrawal of the capital can be recorded in the capital account. And when we come to the current account, it is a kind of variable equity, often changing. Same as the capital account, but short-term capitals. Again, debit and credit is there. All the increments to be recorded in the increases comes to the credit side and all the payments goes to the debit side. The reason of this is it's a type of capital account, equity account. Equity account shows the increase in the credit side and the decreases in the debit side. So when you have an account for current account, according to the number of partners, you can classify the columns. So this is how you have the capital and current account. It has the same format. Only the difference is when we compare the usual ledger account, we have the different value columns according to the number of partners in a partnership organization. So the variable items are recorded in the current account and the fixed items are recorded in the capital account. So we discuss about the partners equity. So the partners equity creating two variables. One is short terms or the variable items, so current account balances, plus capital account balance. So in order to find the total amount of a partnership is found in this way. The total value of the partner's equity is created with the balance of the current account and the capital account. Okay, now we discuss about the equity, the creation of the equity, and now let me come to the summary of what we have done. So we discuss about the partnership organization, and there we came to the definition of the partnership. So there are number characteristics. They were like individuals. There are individuals in the partners and they have kind of common objective. Objective is profit. Individuals, there are individuals and they have an objective of earning profit, and they have agreement and they have some kind of business. These are the different ways or the characteristics of a partnership organization. If you find these things in a partnership, in an organization, you can consider that organization as a partnership. And apart from that, we came to the partnership agreement. There are three ways of having partnership agreement. And these three ways discussing about the conducting method. How the business organization should conduct. After that, we came to the rules and regulation regarding partnership organization. There are different 1890 partnership ordinance, and there are two sections, section number 24 and section number 42. Section number 22 speaking about the profit and loss sharing that should be equally, no salaries given, no interest given, and if there are any expenses borne by the partners on behalf of the business, we have to repay them, and the loans given to the partner should be getting 5% interest. And in the section number 42, we speak about the when there is a retirement of a partnership organization, how we can give them the interest. Interest rate is 5%. As well as for the loans given to the partners. And apart from that, we have number 7 of 2007 Company Act. Section number 590 speaking about the number of partners in a partnership organization. There should be maximum number of partners as 20. And apart from that, we have 1840 The Prevention of Frauds Ordinance, speaking about the when there is investment more than 1,000 rupees, the partnership registration is compulsory. And as one more rule and regulation is number 6 of 1918 Business Name Ordinance. According to this, if the business is conducting other than the name of a partner, that should be registered. This is the rules and regulations regarding the partnership. And after that, we came to the contribution of the partners. There can be contribution for the capital investment. So it is paid an amount of interest. Interest is given for capital. And apart from that, when they are engaging in the management, we pay them something called salary. And also Mutala, when there is something, they have provided loans other than their capital, they receive interest. And for taking risk, they get profit. So this is the contribution of the partners and the payment that they receive. And apart from that, after that, we came to the classification or the building of the total equity. There are two. One is capital account and the current account. Short-term variable equity changes recorded in the current. The fixed changes in the equity is recorded in the capital account. The combination of these two is equal to the equity of a partnership. So my dear children, we discussed the theoretical part of the partnership organization, and this is the summary of the partnership. So we discussed the meaning of the partnership, what does mean by agreement, and the rules and regulations regarding partnership, and the contribution toward the partnership, and how we can create the total equity. So my dear children, I hope this is clear to you regarding partnership organization. In the next segment, we will come with this financial statements prepared by the partnership. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless you.